Hello there and welcome to the Lore Den. I am your host and Lore Master, Scottish Warrior 92. And today's installment we're going to be looking at the Ages in Dragon Age, the game series. Now I will have to explain a little something for those who are unaware of what the hell I'm talking about, but I will do my best to give you a brief summary of what this video will be about. Now in the Dragon Age universe, if you're going with the title, that is what you know it as, but Dragon Age is actually called Dragon Age for a particular reason. It's actually the age or the century in which the game and the universe is set in at the moment. Now according to the various sources, including the Dragon Age Wiki and of course this bad boy, the Dragon Age World of Thedas book, each century, which is also available in the each age, is roughly 100 years old, starting in year 1 and ending in year 99. And then the following year, a new age begins, and so on and so forth. Now, according to the Chantry, there are currently 9 ages that have happened, including the following: the Divine Age, the Glory Age, the Tower Age, the Black Age, the Exalted Age, Steel Age, Stone Age, Blessed Age, and Dragon Age. Those are the 9 official ages according to the Chantry. Now there is a time prior to these ages which the Chantry has just dubbed as the Ancient Era, and this is pre-Chantry. And now the Chantry did exist before the first age, but they were only a cult at the time. It wasn't until the first Divine Age in which the Emperor of Orlais dubbed them an official religion, and they have grown in power over the various centuries. Now I'm going to go through the ages and tell you why they are called what they are. But before we go through the ages, I might as well explain the calendar of Thedas. The calendar of Thedas, and by the way, there is more than one calendar in the world of Dragon Age or the world of Thedas. There are actually 3 calendars in the world of Thedas, not including the, I could be wrong in that one, there could also be a 4th with Kunari, but as it says, this is the only ones that are in the Dragon Age Wiki and the world of Thedas. The 3 calendars that are there are the Elvani calendar, or Elven calendar, the Imperial calendar, and the Chantry calendar. Those are the 3 official calendars, and they don't exactly agree on that. Like, for example, the Imperial calendar and the Elven calendar actually do not count them as ages. They actually just go by the year. The Tevinter Imperium calendar is TE, Tevinter Imperium, and the Elvani calendar is FA, before the fall of Arvalon. I could be wrong about the fall of Arvalon, I'm not 100% certain of that. But we're going with the Chantry's one, since that is the most commonly used one in Thedas. It's used all over Thedas in various parts, not including in most of Thedas. Now the calendar is built up of 12 months, just like our own, so I'm assuming that they have various days, 30 days, 31 days, and they also have holidays. Now I'm not going to go into much detail about these, I'm just going to say the names of the month, and then we're going to dive right into the ages. So we'll start with the names of the month, starting with the first month, which is known as Winter March. The second month is Guardian, third month Draconis, fourth month Cloudreach, fifth month Blooming Tide, sixth month Justina, seventh month Solus, eighth month August, ninth month Kingsway, 10th month Harvest Moon, 11th month First Fall, and 12th month Haring. Now there are names beside this, but these are gone by the Chantry names. There are various holidays in there, but most of the holidays are in kind with the 5 major holidays, which tied in with a tradition of the season and the beginning of a new year. So we have various ones, but I won't get into the holidays just yet. I will actually be going now into the ages. I just thought I'd clarify about a lot of time in Dragon Age. So we'll go in order here. And as I said, I'm not going to go over every event that happened during the ages. I am merely going to go over why they are called what they are, and some key events that happened during these ages. Now before we get into the ages, we will talk briefly about the Ancient Era. The Ancient Era, actually a lot of fucking shit happened, I'll tell you that right now. But as I say, I'm primarily going with some major events, and there are quite a few major events that happened in the Ancient Era, but I will go into that in more detail once I get to the Ancient Era and talking about it in general in a separate video, because each age/era does merit its own video, so I will go into all that, explaining what events happened there and also some other little background. So we'll start with the Ancient Era, and one of the major note things, which is the most common thing known in the Dragon Age universe, is that in the 800th year of the month, according to the Tevinter Imperium calendar, the Golden City was corrupted by the Magisters, and the First Blight happened, with the old god Dumat being woken up, basically. And that is the official First Blight. So the Blight has been around longer than the Chantry. Now, as it says, the First Blight actually lasted quite a long time. It actually lasted 95 years. It actually lasted from 800 TE to 900... Sorry, my apologies. It lasted 92 years. My apologies. I saw a 5 there. I do apologize. I don't know why. But yeah, the First Blight lasted 92 years. But it actually lasted 90 years before the Grey Wardens were officially founded in the West Halt Fortress. Now, I do apologise if I'm mispronouncing that, as a lot of these names are kind of tricky to pronounce. But yes, the First Blight lasted 92 years. You thought Dragon Age Origins was bad. And it was over a period of 90 years. Now, there was a couple of questions you can ask there, like, why did it take so long for the Grey Wardens to be founded? As it says, who's going to drink fucking Darkspawn blood and Archdemon blood? And I can imagine it wasn't exactly easy to get a hold of Archdemon blood. Although I'm pretty sure that probably Dumat had been slain prior to the foundation of the Grey Wardens. However, if an Archdemon is slain by anyone but a Grey Warden, yeah, it just comes back to life and transfers its soul into another Darkspawn. So yeah, the Grey Wardens are needed. So yeah, the Grey Wardens have been around. Now, unfortunately, the final battle of the First Blight took place in 1992. Sorry, 1992. Yeah, it took place then. It took in the year 992 TE in the Silent Fields. And quite a lot of people died. In fact, a third of the human armies were destroyed, and unfortunately, none of the original Grey Wardens survived the battle. Most of them were, in fact, all of them were slaughtered. So I'm assuming that probably there weren't that many left at that point. Now, that is basically the only two ones you really need to concern yourself over. There are other events that happened during this time, and I will go into more detail when I get to the Ancient Era in general, but I'm going through the ages here and some key events that happened. So now we'll move on to the First Age, which is the Divine Age, and this goes from the Age 1, Year 1 to Year 99. And this was named to basically celebrate the reign of the first Divine. This was the first Divine. The closest way I can give it is basically the Divine is the Pope. Best way I can describe it, although it has a lot more power than the Pope. And that was basically the first year. That is why it's called the Divine Age, because it's the age in which it was served. By the way, before we go, and yeah, so that's. I did not mention Andraste in this because she actually needs a whole video to herself, so don't spam the comments and say, you forgot Andraste. I'll get to that. That was before the Divine Age, but I didn't want to go too much into that. So yeah, we will move along. And some key events that happened during the Divine Age, which is very nice. Within the first year of the Divine Age, free use of magic is made illegal in Orlais and must be operated under this chantry. So within the first year, they illegalized magic in all of Orlais and basically made mages work for them. And this was actually kind of tricky, but I'll get to that in a moment when we get to another event. Now, 4 years later, in the Divine Age, in the year 5, Zazikiel was awoken and the second Blight happened. They only just had a Blight less than 20 years ago, and already a second one happened. Jeez, they're not having the best of fucking luck, are they? But yeah, so that is, yeah, so the second Blight happened within the first 5 years of the Divine Age. I think that could be seen as a sign of the Maker. But yes, now in the 20th year of the Divine Age, the Navarian Accord was signed. Now, for those who aren't aware what the Navarian Accord is, this is basically a piece of legislation, or kind of a contract in a way, in which the Seekers of Truth agree to serve the Chantry. Now, this is a large organization. This is very large. They are very powerful as well. They could possibly be even... I think the only other people that are more powerful than them is the Inquisition, but we don't know that much about them, and they aren't even mentioned briefly. They only mentioned briefly in the wiki. But the Navarian Accord is founded, and the Seekers of Truth agree to work with the Chantry, and subsequently the Circle of Magi and the Templar Order are both born from this arrangement. So the Templars and the Circle of Magi have been around since the 20th year of the Divine Age. So they've been around for fucking ass long ass time. Now, between the years 45 and 95 of the Divine Age, so a period of 50 years roughly, the Chantry continued to spread rapidly all over the place, and eventually, within that time frame, the Grey Warrens had basically said that they agree with the Chantry and basically kind of converted to that religion, and subsequently they aided in the expansion of the Chantry, but also in understanding and wiping out the Blight. That is the Grey Warrens' main goal, to wipe out the second Blight. So they basically worked with the Chantry from the second Blight, but the Grey Warrens have been fighting the Blight a lot longer than the Chantry's been around, I'll tell you that right now. Now, combined with all of that, the entire Grey Warden armies and the armies under the command of the brilliant Emperor Drakon, he was the Emperor of Orlais at the time, it made a difference. It gave them a lot of power, and basically the last battle of the Second Blight was fought in Starkhaven in the Three Marches. The humans led by the Grey Wardens, they won. They won the victory, and the Zazakiel was destroyed by a Grey Warden, and the Darkspawn was, well, routed out basically, but of course not extinct. And that is the last major event. There are other events that happened in the Divine Age, but as I said, I'm going over brief events that happened here. And as it is, that followed up within the next 5 years with the Glory Age, which is the second age, and that goes from year 1 to year 99 of the Glory Age. And this was named as a prediction of the grand rebirth after the devastation of the First Blight. As it says, after the First Blight, and as it says, you'll say, well, the First Blight happened before the Chantry was around. I do believe that is supposed to be significant, is that after the First Blight, people started believing in the Maker, and the Chantry was founded. That's why it was called the Glory Age. Now, as it says, it could be just the Chantry saying, that other Blight didn't happen. The First Blight was in the Divine Age. But we have eyewitnesses, nope, the First Blight happened in the Divine Age. It could be that, but I think it's more like that they says that due to the effect of the First Blight, the Chantry had to be founded, and thanks to the Chantry, the Second Blight was stopped. So I believe that's what they're going with. And now, between the 10th and 20th year of the Glory Age, tension between the Elves and the Orlesians grew very tense. In fact, they were near enough at all-out war by this point. And there were skirmishes before the 10th year and the 5th year, but it wasn't until the 10th and 20th year that basically was near an all-out war between the Dales and the Orlesians. Now, actually, the Elves, I'm not kidding you, actually got pretty damn close to beating the Chantry. In fact, so close that they were on the doorstep and sacked Val Ryu, the capital of Orlais and the Chantry headquarters. At this point, the Chantry declared a holy war against the Elves. And subsequently, this unfortunately led to the defeat of the Elves, and they were completely crushed. And subsequently, that resulted in them losing their faith, losing basically a fuck ton of what they were, and they were completely destroyed near enough. The Dales eventually came under the reign of the Orlesians. So, yeah, the Elves came pretty damn close to beating the Orlesians, but with the Chantry's help and a lot of other help, they were crushed. So, unfortunately, they lost. Now, in the 34th year of the in the Glory Age, my apology, following the defeat of Zazakiel in the 95 year of the Divine Age, general support was building a fortress headquarters for the Grey Wardens. This fortress became known as Soldier's Peak. Yes, in Ferelden. Remember, the Orlesians kind of fucking ruled that place. And by the way, Ferelden didn't exist at this point. Ferelden wasn't found until many in another age. I'll get to that. Now, another notable event that took place in the Glory Age is in the 83rd year of the Glory Age. This was actually the first time the Rite of Annulment was activated, was basically done, in which, if you don't know what the Rite of Annulment is, it basically instructs the Templars of a Circle of Magi to wipe out every single mage. Yes, every single mage. So yeah, this was the first Rite of Annulment. Now, it's good to hear that at least it lasted over 100 years before they instigated the first official Rite of Annulment, and this took place in the Circle of Magi in Navarra. And subsequently, the Rite of Annulment was granted to every Grand Cleric. So the Grand Cleric had power to activate the Rite of Annulment, which is something that is very, very difficult to do, very strict. The Chantry don't do it unless it's absolutely necessary, as exampled in the Circle of Magi and Ferelden during the events of Dragon Age Origins. Now we'll move on to the next age, and the next age is actually the Tower Age, and this is named due to the completion of the Grand Cathedral in Orlais in Val Rio. Yes, it took them about 300 years to build a fucking cathedral. Go figure. But if you've seen pictures of that cathedral, it is a very gorgeous looking cathedral and very prominent, and it could actually be seen from miles around, so it wasn't exactly invisible. Now, during this age, from basically near enough the beginning of the age, there was the legend of Flemeth began to crop around in various eras. Myths and legends about her started cropping up all over the place. So Flemeth has been around, if not longer than the Tower Age. Now, she could have been around a lot longer than that, so she's been around for a long-ass fucking time. She's an old fucking hag, isn't she? But yeah, that's another thing. So basically, through the entire Tower Age, the rumours and legends of Flemeth circulated like wildfire. Now, in the 10th year of the Tower Age, the third blight happened with the old god Thoth being awoken. And yeah, let's just say that the Darkspawn kind of killed everything. They basically took various cities from Tevinter and Orlais all over the place. This was a very, very bad blight. It took a lot to beat this one. Now, eventually, with 15 years later, in the 25th year of the Tower Age, the Darkspawn and the Archdemon were slain and defeated due to the combined powers of the armies of the Orlesians and the Tevinter Imperium. Now, the Grey Ones did win, luckily enough, and destroyed it, and basically slaughtered the Darkspawn. Basically, it was the Darkspawn bodies were said to be, once you piled them up and burnt them, to be 100 feet high. So, pretty damn fucking big. So, that's a lot. Let's just say people don't forget that. So, 100-foot tall pile of bodies. As I said, it's probably an exaggeration, but that's pretty damn fucking big while it burns. I can't even imagine the smell. Now, another event that actually took place in the Tower Age was in the year 87, in which the Tevinter Imperium elected their own divine, who was male. And for those who don't know, the divine is actually always meant to be female, which, yeah, you can kind of see why they'd be pissed off at this. And tension between Orlais and Tevinter Imperium have been around since a while before that. But basically, this increased the tension tenfold, and subsequently, they even decided to defend even change some of their beliefs in Andraste and the use of magic, and that's kind of obvious since the Tevinter Imperium basically allows magic. There is no Circle of Magi there, so you can kind of see why. So that was another event that happened during the Tower Age. Now, the next age that happened was the Black Age, and that was the 4th age, and happened between 4.1 to 4.99. And the Chantry calls this, basically called this for the retribution against the false divine in the north. So it was, the Black Age was named because there was a false divine, so in the Chantry's eyes anyway. And now there were a few events, but it was a very uneventful age in some instances. The only thing of note that I saw was that this was the beginning of the Exalted Marches, which I'll get into eventually, but let's just say it was basically marches against Tevinter. Basically, Orlais versus Tevinter, Chantry versus Imperium. Let's just say there was a lot of blood. Now, as I say, this is followed by the next age, which is the Exalted Age, because the Exalted Marches actually took place, started in the Black Age, and finished in the Exalted Age. So yeah, the Exalted Marches lasted over 60, 70 years. So a long-ass fucking time. And the Exalted Age is named for that, for the near-continuous war between the Chantry and Tevinter. So a lot of bloodshed. Now, notable events that happened during this, one of the most ones is in the 12th year of the Exalted Age, in which the 4th blight occurs, and the old god Andorol is awoken. Basically, Antiva, the country, is completely overrun, and the ruling family slaughtered. So the Darkspawn took over all of Antiva near enough. And then, of course, the Darkspawn poured all over Ravenia, and the Free Marchers. So the Darkspawn were in force during this Blight, and near enough conquered half of Thedas within the first year. It even ended up taking the capital city of Anderfall, so that's to say something. Now, eventually, this actually did coincide with the Orlesians and the Tevinter Imperium setting aside their differences and actually teaming up to take out the Darkspawn and drive them back into the depths. Is it say Anderfall's killed? Yes. So basically, basically 2 more enemies teamed up to take on the Darkspawn. Kind of obvious how that was going to turn out. Now, the Blight actually stayed occurring until the 24th year of the Exalted Age, in which Andoril is killed, basically. However, technically speaking, the Blight didn't end there, due to the fact that even though the surface was fine, the dwarves kinda fucking ruled. They were still feeling the effects of the Darkspawn. The Darkspawn will always be around for the dwarves. So yeah, that happens. Now, another event that happened during the Exalted Age is that King Calanhas is crowned and Ferelden is founded. At this point, there was actually King Calanhas actually had to bring a lot of the tribes and people in Ferelden, which wasn't Ferelden at the time, together to found Ferelden. So Ferelden was founded in the Exalted Age in the year 42. So Ferelden has been around for a while, but it's not been the oldest country. Now, of course, the next age is the Steel Age, and this is the 6th age. This is named due to the assassination of Queen Madrigal of Antiva during a hunt. She was actually found with 4 steel swords pointing out of her chest. So yeah, a bit of an overkill there. So 4 people stabbed her to death. So yeah, it's very much believed that the Antivan Crows were behind it. As it says, the Antivan Crows are very good at hiding that fact, but it's very much believed that they were behind it. Now, during this age, the entire age, dragons are near enough hunted to extinction, or at least that's what they thought. Within that age, the dragons were thought to be extinct, so the dragons were near enough extinct and didn't reappear for nearly 400 years. So it's safe to say dragons are aren't exactly kind of liking us too much. So you can't see why they attack us on sight. Now, in this age, in the Steel Age, the Qunari actually conquer Parvalan. So the Qunari arrive in force and conquer Parvalan near enough like that. So safe to say that. And this resulted in eventually the beginning of the Qunari War. So yeah, that's the war between Tevinter and the Qunari. Now, the Qunari do fight other ones, but it's mainly between these two due to the fact that Parvalan was part of Tevinter Imperium. So yeah, Tevinter Imperium, Qunari, they've been fighting for quite a long ass fucking time. Now, in the 85th year of the Steel Age, sings blah 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 blah. National Rebellion, Tevinter managed to free the Imperium, and the Qunari lines began to crumble. Basically, at this point, the Qunari were winning the war. And I actually didn't take good notes here, I do apologise. There's probably more detail. But basically, the Qunari were winning. The Tevinter Imperium were backed into a corner. But eventually, the Tevinter Imperium managed to get everything back and freed the Imperium from the Qunari, leading the Qunari to near enough crumble. And there are other events that happened during this age, but we'll move on to the next age, which is the Storm Age, which is the 7th age, and lasted for, of course, 100 years. And now this is named basically for the War of the Qunari, which the Chantry had dubbed the Great Storm of Violence. So yeah, the 7th age wasn't a pleasant age. We'll say that right now. In fact, most of these ages haven't been pleasant. What the fuck is up with this universe? There's always a blight and there's always people killing each other. For fuck's sake, can't we all get along? But yeah, so that's basically it. That's why it's named that. And there's some events that happened to the Earth as in the 10th age of the Dragon Age, the Storm Age, under the rule of King Arelond, the Grey Ones are banished from Ferelden after a failed coup by Warden Commander Sophia Dryden. Sorry, I fuck up pronouncing that name. But yeah, that's the character in Dragon Age Origins. We meet the ancestor of him, and we go to Soldier's Peak. So it was back in the 7th age that this event happened. So yeah, it was about 200 years before the events of Dragon Age Origins. So yeah, that's when it happened. So that's when that place got fucked up. Pretty damn fucking bad. And at that point, basically the wardens were forbidden to enter Ferelden due to that fact, which I actually can't blame them, because Sophia was fucking nuts. Or it could have been her possessed form that was nuts, but that's beside the point. But yeah, so that's kind of why the wardens weren't allowed in Ferelden for over 200 years. There are other events that took place as that is between the 25th year and the 85th year of the Storm Age, new exalted marches had begun. Basically a march on the Imperium by the Chantry to retake cities that had been conquered, including even Ravania. Now during these marches, our legions were able to capture the Tome of Kuzlin, sorry, my apologies. That's the tome in Dragon Age Origins, in Dragon Age 2, that Isabella stole. So basically the Elysians were able to steal that roughly 200 years before the events of Dragon Age Origins. So you can kind of see why the Qunari were kind of pissed off at us. So you can't blame them for wanting to kill a lot of people for stealing a very holy relic to them. So the Elysians stole it, and yeah, it took them over 200 years and the assistance of the Champion of Kirkwall for the Qunari to get their book back. Holy shit, they were pissed, let's just say that. So that's why the Elysians, Tevinter, and the Qunari don't exactly get along. Kind of weird, it's kind of like a three-way deadlock, because we've got the Qunari here, the Elysians here, and the Tevinter here. The Qunari hate the Tevinter hate the Qunari for conquering one of their lands and trying to conquer them, but the Qunari hate the Elysians because the Elysians stole their most holy relic, and the Elysians hate the Tevinters because they have a divine and they don't believe the exact same thing as them. Kind of like a nice wee triangle, don't you think? It's a triangle of hate and war. Don't you just love that? So yeah, everyone hates everyone. Now, the first of the new exalted marches took place in the 25th year, and they did last for 60 years. So, yeah. So, I can see why the Qunari were pissed, I can see why the Tevinter were pissed, and I can see why the Chantry are pissed. Triangle of hate, bitches! Now, we're going through the last two ages, of course, and when I get to the Dragon Age, I'm not going to spend too much time on that, because there's a lot of shit I need to cover, and that's a separate video entirely. So, I'll go with the next age, which is the Blessed Age, which is named after the Chantry as an age of bounty and prosperity. So basically, like, this age is going to be fucking fantastic, so don't worry about it. Let's see what happened during that age. During this age, in the 24th year of it, the Mad Emperor Revelli, I'm probably butchering his name, I do apologise, launched an invasion of Ferelden. So this was the Elysians invading Ferelden due to the Mad Emperor, who was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, let's just say that. Now, it took 20 years, but basically Ferelden was conquered within 20 years after Denerim was sacked, and Megarin is made the new king of Ferelden after the death of Brandel, the current king at that time. However, this led to his daughter, the rebel queen, Moria, I am butchering her name, I do apologise, Therion, who basically led the resistance, and we know of this due to the events of Dragon Age: The Stolen Throne, which takes place during this age, and partially during the Dragon Age. In fact, no, it takes place entirely during the Dragon Age. I do apologise. I'm completely fucking up. I'm getting some minor things screwed here, so slight error there, but that happens. Now, other events that happened during this age is in the 78th year of the Blessed Age, Merrick Therion is born. Therion? I feel like I'm mispronouncing that name wrong. I do apologise. And basically, it's the bloodline of Callan had to continue. So, the Rebel Queen Merrick is born in the 78th year of the Blessed Age. Now, in the 96th year, so 22, 4, 6, 2, 10, 6, no, 18 years later, the Rebel Queen is assassinated by Ban Kellerock. Damn you Fereldans and your fucked up names. It's probably Elysian. Elysians have fucked up names. So yeah, basically, the Queen is killed and the rebellion is thought to be dead. However, 3 years later, in the 99th year of the Blessed Age, Merrick kills Bantils and the other three nobles that betrayed them, and the 2 legions of Chevaliers that the Emperor had sent to occupy Ferelden, defeated in the Battle of Riverdane and liberated Ferelden from the Elysian rules. So in the last year of the Blessed Age, Merrick kicked fucking ass and won the war. Covered in Dragon Age: The Stolen Throne. Highly recommend reading it. It's an awesome book. Now, there are other events that did take place during this one, of course. A dragon was spotted over the Frostback Mountains in the 99th year. So that gets us to the current age of Dragon Age, which is of the world of Thedas, the Dragon Age. And this is named after the reappearance of dragons over the Frostback Mountains, long thought to be extinct. So over 200 years the dragons were thought to be extinct, and then they reappeared over the Frostback Mountains in this book, and subsequently this resulted in the age being named of Dragon Age. However, this was actually named is actually named by the chanter due to the fact that the dragons are seen as a sign of, it said it here, I do apologise, I completely should have taken a note of it. Where does it say? Here it is. Is this it? Currently in Thedas is the 9th age, the Chantry calendar known as the Dragon Age. It was predicted at a time of great. It was predicted to be a time of great disaster, destruction, and upheaval. So shit goes fuck up here. Basically, yeah, that it was named for that because the dragons were seen as a sign of bad shit going to happen, which it did. So we'll get to this. So they were kind of right in that part. But of course we'll go through the years, some events before Dragon Age starts. Dragon Age Origins begins. So in the 5th year of the Dragon Age, Cailan is born, King Cailan, a prince at the time, and the future king. So Cailan was born in the 5th age of the Dragon Age. Unfortunately, 3 years later, his mother, Queen Ronin, passed away in Ferelden. So she did actually pass away, and it is covered. Briefly in the events of Dragon Age: The Calling, which takes place in the 10th year of the Dragon Age, so 20 years before Dragon Age Origins. Basically, the 10th year is quite important. That's the events of Dragon Age: The Calling. I would highly recommend reading that because it does take place there. But in a nutshell, this is basically the Architect is basically unearthed and killing the the Architect is attempting to unearth and kill the remaining old gods. So the Architect wanted to kill the old gods. I don't remember that exactly in the book. The wiki could be wrong in that part. But with the effort of King Merrick and a band of Grey Wardens, which I will not go into because that's major spoilers for The Calling, please go and read it. It's a fantastic book. In fact, get an audiobook. I think there's an audiobook. No, there's no audiobook. My apologies. And subsequently, that event led to the Grey Wardens being allowed back in Ferelden, which was not exactly to Teyrn Loghain's liking, if you don't know. And it's kind of obvious in Dragon Age Origins, but it's made more prominent in Dragon Age: The Calling. He did exactly approve of letting the Orlesian Grey Wardens into Ferelden again. He was like, "Are you fucking nuts?" So yeah, you can kind of see why he was pissed. Now, there is one more. There are 2 more events before the beginning of Dragon Age Origins. The next event, which took place in the 10th year as well, is that Alistair is born. Alistair is born in the 10th year of the Dragon Age. I'm not going to say which result in his birth, but it is right after the events of the Calling that he's born. I'm not going to say what it is, but you may want to read the Calling to find out. Now, the last event to take note of the Dragon Age is the 25th year of the Dragon Age, which is a very interesting one. King Merrick of Ferelden is lost at sea. I'm going to leave it there because after that is a bit of a spoiler, but this is very much believed that this is when Merrick died. I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say he may not have. I don't want to spoil anything. But he is believed to have died at this point, and that's not long, and shortly after, King Cailan is crowned. And then a couple months later, he married Loghain's daughter. Yeah, you can kind of see Loghain was like, right, Cailan's deed, Merrick's deed, honey, yes, father, go marry his son. Well, I don't love him. Tough shit, go marry him. You can just see that. That was probably the conversation. And then after that, 5 years later is the beginning where Dragon Age Origins officially begins. And then you go with the events from there on begin, because Dragon Age is a massive role-playing game. A lot of shit could have fucking changed. But yeah, that is basically the end of this, the ages basically that I can go over. I will be doing a separate video on each age, talking about them and going over every event that happened during that age. But Dragon Age Origins is where I will stop, due to the fact that there are a lot of events that do take place during that are very dependent on player choice. And also the events of the graphic novels, and of course the novels. Now that's basically the entire ages in a nutshell. So that's all of the ages. You now know that why the ages are called what they are, and some key events that happened during this. Now I'm not saying that I'm 100% accurate, but this is where I got my information. I got it from the Dragon Age Wiki and from the World of Thedas book. And I would recommend you go and look if you want to see other events that happened during each age. Go to the Dragon Age Wiki. I will leave a link in the description if you want to go and check it out for yourself. But it's safe to say that there were a lot of stuff that happened in the other ages. But as I said, I hope I was able to inform people about the Dragon Age universe and why it's called Dragon Age, because the name Dragon Age isn't there just because it sounds cool, even though it does. It's there for a reason. It's there to show that this universe is expansive. Dragon Age is the age in which it's set. It's the 9th age, which means there's been over 900 years of stuff that we did not get to witness. And even more than that, not gone further back before the Chantry was founded. So it's safe to say that the Dragon Age universe is very expansive and has a lot of lore to it. And I will be covering as much of it as I possibly can. And of course the events that eventually Dragon Age will end, and then we'll be moving on to the next age. Now I don't know if BioWare will rename Dragon Age once they get to that point, but I can imagine that the 99th year of the Dragon Age, shit is going to go down. Shit is going down, bitches! But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope I was able to inform you about the Dragon Age and the universe that I fucking adore and I fucking love. So hopefully I informed you, and hopefully you can take some little information about that. So thank you for watching. I am Scottish Warrior 92. This has been the first episode of the Lore Den, and I am your lore master, and I will see you all later. Make her be with